Check, 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 check. 1 2 1 2. Vader Games in the building. You know what it is? I'm Vader Games. First things first. My peoples come first. My peoples, those of you watching live, those of you watching on the replay, those of you here and have, or once were here, thought of and remembered. I'm Vader Games. It's been a minute, and I'm back with another episode of 115. One question, 15 minutes, 115. And I'm going to have to do this. I'm going to have to do this in a manner of efficiency. So let me say this really early before I start the timer. Summer. That season is crazy hectic for me. Work, family, summer vacation, and all of that stuff. So apologies on being away, a little bit of a hiatus. There's a few things to expect brand new for the upcoming season. When the season kicks in, we got the Community Shield coming up, and then we're going to be full into the season versus Chelsea. But we'll talk about all of that tonight, depending on where you are in the world. The reason why I had to tune in, the reason why I'm doing this show and kicking it off a little early with the 115 is because of Julian Alvarez. Julian Alvarez is why I'm here. I'm going to start the timer. If you're new, hit that like button, hit that subscribe. If I say something that's different, if I say something that you're like, oh, I like that perspective, Vader, hit that like button. If you're here and you've been here before, thank you. Comment, be a part of the mix. I'm going to put comments on and I'm going to deal with those. And every time for my shows, every time a way of me showing recognition to those that are supporting the channel, those that are being involved, I put up the very first person to take the time out of their day to post a comment. I post them, I shout them out. And this week or this episode, I got a shout out. DC in the building. Vader is back. Happy day. Thank you, DC. Thank you. I am back. I'm going to be as consistent as I can. I'm going to speak on Manchester City and all things Prem pretty much as the season kicks in. But today, let me start the timer. Let me actually do this all official. Let me be true to my words. And the first 15 minutes is going to be me sharing what I happen to think, what I feel. All the information that I have, I'm going to share back. The next 15 is going to be questions that are maybe posted. It's going to be comments that I want to address. And it's just going to be a brief 30-minute show. So let me start the clock right now. And let me also let you know, actually, before I start the clock, let me let you know that these questions here on the side are all potential shows. These are all things that I want to tackle leading into the season when the season's going. So take a look right there. You have a chance based off of the comments, post-show, DMs, all of that. You can let me know which topic you want to see next. But today, we're dealing with why Julian Alvarez doesn't want to fight. And when I say doesn't want to fight, I'm going to speak on why he doesn't want to fight Erling Haaland for that number one striker position. All right. I see DC in the building. She also says, will this be the year Vader finally goes to Manchester for a game? DC, listen, it's in the works. It is definitely in the works. I got a really good friend. He happens to be an Arsenal fan, but he's over there, Canadian as well. Shout out to him. Got a beautiful baby girl. But I'm making plans. To head over there, link up with him, as well as obviously the Manchester City fans that I've met online, Bankune Way and all of the fellas as well. So, yeah, we're going to make it happen. Keep that under wraps, though. Don't want to spoil it. Now, let me start the clock. I am going to be completely honest with you. I don't like the transfer window. There's so many rumors. There's so many what ifs. There's so many speculation. I don't get caught up in the, this initial thought or what do you think. I like a little more concrete information because in all honesty, the nature of the business, you're supposed to inquire on many players. Clubs are supposed to inquire with other clubs, finding out where or who are available, right? So that gets talked about a lot. And unfortunately, the fact that engagements are monetized, a lot of things get posted, a lot of things get a lot of things get worded just for the click, just for the scroll, just for the comments. So I myself, I don't get caught up in all of that, but I do when something's got legs and something's been very consistent or moving forward, I do have to speak on it. And Julian Alvarez has to be talked about. Now, shout out to everyone in the comments. I will get to them. Like I said, the first 50 minutes is going to be me kind of flowing, but I will get to the comments. Julian Alvarez being sought after from Atletico Madrid. That's the latest. That's the strongest. You've got the likes of Orstein and other accounts that are sharing that information. It's real. And it's important to note that every player, with regards to their career, has to be looking at what's next. Every player has to be thinking of, okay, here's my surroundings, here's what's expected me, what could be the next part of my career, of my future. Julian Alvarez, no different than any other player at Manchester City. The reason why I want to pose a question, the reason why I want to ask is, or maybe answer, why Julian doesn't want to fight for the number one striker spot. And let's all remember when he came to Manchester City 2 seasons ago, him and Haaland, amazing signings. It was to show and prove who is the starter, show and prove who is the better footballer. No one can honestly straight up say that Julian Alvarez is a better striker than Haaland. You want to look at the first season that they both came to Manchester City, Haaland breaks the Prem goal scoring record. Not only does he do that, we win in trouble. A lot of it also had to do with Alvarez and his contribution, but at striker, Erling Haaland was that guy. And then next up, the season after that, we see Haaland injured, Alvarez stepping up, but there's a noticeable difference between Erling Haaland at striker and Julian Alvarez. Both fantastic players, but the reason why Julian Alvarez has made the decision, if he does end up leaving, to leave is because at the end of the day, he's going to say, I'm not taking this man's spot. He's going to leave. He's going to decide to leave because he's like, I've made the calculations. I've thought about it. It's best for me to go now than to try to fight it out with Erling Haaland at striker this season, if he does end up leaving. Now, what I do like, and again, maybe I'm stealing a few points with regards to Manchester City or talking things through, and actually I am stealing a point because it's right there when I talk about why players aren't held hostage at Manchester City. That philosophy I'll go in more depth on another show, but in particular, Manchester City aren't going to let him go if it's not good business. That's where many of us, the City fans, should be confident. Many of us, the City fans, should be like, you know what? If he goes, tough. Hate to see him go. How are we going to replace him? But financially, contractually, it will have to make sense. The club has set a value, and honestly, I believe the value was all in around 90 mil, whether that's euros, pounds, I'm not too sure, but 90 in terms of the evaluation, how that's broken up, whether it's 70-30, I don't know, 80-10, 70-20, I should say. That we'll figure it out. But the evaluation, I think, is right because he's under contract for a long time. He kind of just renewed because, again, he just signed 2 years ago. And the importance of what he is to our club, the versatility that we saw of him last season, we can't let him go. We can't let him go for peanuts. If he does go, it's going to be for the right amount. And I think he's incredibly talented. I think his versatility was huge. We had no Haaland for 2 months. We had no KDB for 5 months. And Alvarez clocked in maybe the 5th, 4th most minutes all season. And he showed his versatility playing all over, up front as well as in that midfield slightly, kind of like a 10. But if he wants to go, we let him go. And if he wants to go, we let him go at the right price. if we're going to do anything remotely better than last season. Okay, chill. Don't kill me in the comment. We won the league last season. We got the 4P. Okay, I am not dismissing that accomplishment. I'm not minimizing it. No, I was ecstatic that we won. I was disappointed that we didn't win the FA Cup for the double, because that would have been historic as well. But we won the Prem amazingly, huge. I'm still celebrating. Okay, part of why I haven't been making so much content. I've been celebrating. But if we are to better what we did last year, and to better what we did last year is to win the Prem and another trophy, whether it's the Carabao, whether it's the FA, whether it's Champions League, we have to, or we will look to better what we did last year. If we're going to do that and we lose Julian Alvarez, we have to replace him. There's no ifs, there's no ands, there's no maybe. For us to better what we did last season, we will have to replace him. Can we win the league without him? Yes. Can we win multiple trophies without him? I don't think so. I think it puts a lot of demand on Haaland, because right now it's all kind of easy. We're looking at the league fixtures, but we got to think about the league fixture when we start layering in Carabao games, when we start layering in FA games, when we start layering in Champions League. That gets really congested. And right now it doesn't look like we're going to be in the market to replace a Rodri. And if we lose an Alvarez, we're going to be going into a season without a replacement for Haaland. Yes, can Pep find a different system for us to have these one-offs be successful? Yes. Can we revert back to the false nine? Sure. But guys, even that false nine had its problems. Yes, we won the league, but that false nine had its problems. There is a direct correlation to dominating world football, winning a treble with a striker, to winning the league using false nine. Okay? It's different. And I think we need that coverage. I think we need that killer up front. Will we replace him? I don't know. But there's a reason why Arsenal fell short against Manchester City. There's a reason why they're in the market and their fan base is stressing. They need a killer up front. They need a striker. If we don't have coverage for Rodri or for Haaland, I think it's a difficult year. I think it's a very difficult year, and it's going to be a difficult year physically because of the bodies that we have available. It's going to be an extremely difficult year mentally because no one's won 5 in a row. No one's had that type of, you got to go that extra mile. You got to go that extra inch again. You got to go in the tank again. There's going to be 5 in a row. It's going to be extremely demanding, and I think we need coverage for it. So all that I'm hearing is that Atletico Madrid are extremely aggressive, very interested in Julian Alvarez. We will not hold any player hostage. We will not hold onto them like we've seen at other clubs. Shout out to Spurs and Daniel Levy going back on his word with Harry Kane. We're not going to do any of that here at Manchester City. But if the evaluation that has been set for the player is met, then we let them go. And if Atletico Madrid are going to meet that evaluation, we'll let Julian Alvarez go. Can we then in the market go and find a replacement? I don't know. Probably what we do know, going off of history, Manchester City fans, is that we're not going to rush any decision. We're not going to rush in this and just band-aid buy someone. Look when we had Aguero injured and Jesus happened to be injured. Look when Aguero, we have to say farewell to Aguero. Yeah, we were in the market potentially getting a Cristiano Ronaldo or a Harry Kane, but when it didn't make sense, we didn't just buy anybody. We waited it out. Continue to evaluate. So I hope Julian stays. I would really like him to stay for his versatility, because he can shoot left, right foot. Like, he's quality. He's huge quality. And he would start anywhere. He would start anywhere else. Like, let's think of the other strikers top 8. He starts at Arsenal. Easy. He starts at Arsenal. Okay. Okay. Aston Villa, nah. Aston Villa, he doesn't start. They got quality there as well. But Liverpool are taking him. Are you kidding me? Liverpool are taking a Julian Alvarez, World Cup winner. They're taking him. Darwin Núñez. Spurs are taking him. Maybe Newcastle don't take him. Maybe. Chelsea. I don't know. Who knows for Chelsea? Man United. Of course they take him. Even before their injuries, they're taking Julian Alvarez. West Ham are taking him. So I don't think we can afford to lose him without replacing him. And when we think of how fantastic our manager is to be able to come up with solutions, that's all great. I just don't want a season where we play one way because we have Haaland, and whenever we have to sub him off, we can't play with a directness. We can't play with a central form of attack. To have to kind of do the possession or maybe the trickery with a lot of movement, the false nine. I would like an option, maybe the versatility in the player to be able to play direct as well as play as false nine, maybe being a little more technical, close ball control. But guys, I'm gonna go to the comments just now. What did you think of the news? What did you think of a instant replacement? That's what I'm going to ask you. Okay, if you thought you saw the news with Julian Alvarez leaving, what did you think? Okay, here's the fix. Here's what we're going to have in place. I'm not going to be too strict on my 15 minutes exactly, but I want to make sure I got my point across. I've featured on a few shows. You know me. Jokes aside, I also like to interact with the peeps on Twitter X. I like to be in the spaces. I like to get the combos from those that maybe don't feel comfortable putting their faces on camera, those that are on the move, which I often happen to be when I tune into Twitter X space because I'm on the move. It's easy to kind of, with the commute and some of the things I got to tackle, I just have that in my ear. But when you hear the news, people on Twitter are just like, not that big of a deal. Alvarez wants to go. We don't keep players, but at the same time, he's too much quality. He's too much quality. Let me go to the comments as well. DC goes, do it while Pep is still here. Okay. I think she's encouraged me to head over to the pond while Pep is still manager. I hear all that. Respect on that one. Football Carnage. Legend Vader. Hey, much respect. Thank you so much. Again, hey, also, it's real easy if you're on your desktop or if you're on your phone. As much love as I kind of get with regards to the comments and being part of the show, also take time, see someone in the comments, got a feeling based off of their Abby that they make content, go and check it out. My guy, Football Carnage, much respect. Now, Blue Heart goes, hi Vader, good to see you back doing the show. Hope you are well. Did you get any city games in the States? I watched all the games in the States, but up here in Toronto, and again, I was saying earlier, it's vacation time. It's when I got to make sure that summertime, getting the sun on the body, that all the vitamins, the healthy rays, and it's time spent with the kids. So lots of outdoor play. I didn't get a chance to get down to the game. DC, she's glad that I'm going to be able to make that move. Shout out to Carnage. The girl RK in the building. It was great getting the notification that you'll be on. Thank you. And there's a few that don't quite understand. They don't quite understand that sometimes you got to take a break. Sometimes you got to step back. As much as I missed not being able to talk football, talk Manchester City with you guys, sometimes you just gotta break away. And I appreciate that, the girl RK. Much appreciated. Blue Heart, IDC showing some love. Lots of talk over here in the UK that Julian is talking to Atletico. Yeah, I think it's very advanced. I think it is very advanced with what's happening. It's just a matter of meeting the valuation. Now, do we have the talent at the club already for him? I would say no. As great as we have in terms of players coming through the academy, I saw rumors about Micah Hamilton. He's rumored to leave. I know, again, midfielder though. McAtee's looking to remain potentially. O'Reilly was well talked about from Pep. We got Oscar Bob, who's of quality, but Chelsea sniffing around. Newcastle are sniffing around. I want us to keep the talent, but at striker, we need to keep the player. And I'll also go back to the point about not wanting to fight. Year one, we can all be honest. Year one at Manchester City, Julian got his games, but was not the guy. And he would never be the guy because of how sick Erling Haaland was. He broke records. He was getting hat tricks like it was going out of style. He was just constantly setting records, right? Julian's probably year one being like, damn, I don't know if I'm going to start. I don't know where I play. Now, Pep, I'm not going to say shoehorned him, but Pep was like, let me test you, young man. Let me see what else you can do on that pitch. Let me see if I can have you and Haaland in tandem. And for a few games, it does work. But when you have the emergence of Foden getting a lot more secure within that midfield, when you have Bernardo Silva, again, the interchange between Foden and Bernardo on the wing, when you got the arrival of Doku, there's just so much that Pep can probably do. And I think the most natural position for Julian is at striker, but he's not going to replace Erling Haaland. He's not. So the lack of fight that we might see if Julian says, I'm out of here, thank you, Manchester City, it's been real, I've won everything I could in England in a short amount of time, but if I'm going to get these games, if I'm going to be able to be that guy, there's no way I'm going to do it with Erling Haaland here. That fight for the number one spot is going to be way too intense. So I get why he's leaving, and it's going to be a problem at striker as long as Erling's here. So whoever we get, do we get someone that knows that they're never going to be the first option, but also have extreme confidence so when they do start, they're like, let me go and do my thing. I saved this as a draft. I didn't send it out. Oh, let me start the clock, actually, by the way. But I drafted Ivan Toney, who seems to be not wanted by many clubs for whatever reason. I think his price tag is pretty low, 30 mil, maybe less. Yes, he's an older player. Would he comes across as a player with extreme confidence to, I'm on that pitch, I'm going to do what I got to do. And to also know that Erling Haaland's ahead of me, like I'm not changing that. Does he do that? Does he do that? As I talk out loud, and when you have the player, the athlete hat on, for him to get his payday, for him to get that contract that he's probably looking for, it doesn't happen when you go to a club like Manchester City that already have a killer. He's got to go somewhere else. Ivan Toney would actually be perfect going to Arsenal. They've got no one up there. They've got absolutely no one. No one's threatening in that striker position. Ivan Toney would be sick for them. Ed goes, big up. Yo, good looking out, Ed. Thanks for being here. Blue Heart goes, you're right, Vader. Pep likes to challenge his players. I think Julian could be a bit upset with being the guy that never get to play regular in a set position. Yeah. Julian Alvarez got many minutes, but not in the role that he loves. Not in the role that he's like, yeah, I'm a cook. I'm a cook in this position. We had him all over the place, left, right, 10. think it's bad timing. Now, how do we replace him? I'm hearing some City fans saying, you know what, we don't need to outright replace him. We can get away with Oscar Bob maybe playing a stint. We can get away with maybe Foden playing false nine. Savio, who's we haven't even seen him play, but could he play a role? I don't want a hybrid. I don't want a makeshift. I'd like to be able not. I get it. Alvarez was never like for like when subbed on for Haaland, but it was still that player that had a nose for goal. It was still a player that had that confidence to put it on target. We've seen players not even just have that instinct to get into attacking positions in that 18-yard box when they're naturally midfielders, right? They're naturally kind of set to be supportive, to be an option as opposed to be reactionary. Let's remember how Haaland got this crazy amount of goals against RB Leipzig a couple Champions Leagues ago. Like, it was just instinctful, where to be, being able to read reactions. Midfielder-wise, it's not a natural thing, right? So I don't know what the options are. I hate the news. And I'm not going to be doom and gloom right now because it's what the 5th of August. I can't be nuts like that. But if we're to better last season, let's remember Arsenal have gotten better. Arsenal went and addressed their left back issues. Arsenal are rumored to get, Moreno, a midfielder. And I don't know why they haven't prioritized getting a striker, but they're also looking to spend more and get a striker. They address those 3 issues, and we have players exiting without being replaced. It is advantage Arsenal. They should be extremely hungry. They should be. We can't keep this 20 years of no league win. We can't have this continue. So I don't know how we do it. Blue Heart, I don't know how we do it. Blue Heart goes on to say, the good news for me is that Bernardo hasn't had much gossip linking him with the move away. Blue Heart, that is good news. We go a transfer window where there's not much Bernardo Silva rumors, and because there's no rumors or not much talk about Bernardo, guess what happens now? Now there's a lot of talk with Julian Alvarez. I, like you, happy to hear that there's not much talk. I'm hoping that there is no more. The talk is done with regards to Ederson. That's me. Like the way you were just expressing the feelings on Bernardo, that's me with Ederson. I need Ederson, don't go anywhere. Ederson, you're needed. Oh my gosh. And imagine, this is why some City fans were panicking, right? Because there was Ederson leaving, there was Bernardo leaving, there was talk of, and it wasn't strong as it is now, but there was Alvarez potentially going, and what was the other one? There was actually talk of Walker. Now, the Walker talk isn't too crazy because I think he is further along in terms of his career, and many of us kind of like been reserved to be like, okay, he's going to be moving on soon. But that's a lot of exits, and it's not if when you're losing experience in particular, and I think that's what hurt us so much this year because we lost the experience of a Gundogan, of a Mahrez, of a Laporte, and look, when you lose that, you don't replace it like that. And look at what we were able to win 2 seasons ago to have won last year. So I'm going to say Julian leaves. How did I forget this? Rodri still has no replacement. Rodri, our Ballon d'Or. Everybody in the chat, listen, we all need to be on our campaign mode. Rodri for Ballon d'Or. And it's probably the thing that makes the most sense with regards to the past season accomplishments, because he did it all. And he was well deserved. Well deserved. But we've got Pep playing Calvin Phillips at center back. Now, I'm happy that he's showing his versatility. I'm happy that he's showing his worth, because he didn't have the right goal for whatever it is, how he's reading it within the Pep system, what he's relied on in terms of quality of, touch on the ball and distribution. I did like what I saw at center back. I like how a few of the balls over top with regards to getting it to Haaland, getting it to Oscar Bob. I like that. I really like that. If he can give us some options there, I'm cool, because we know Stones kind of tough to manage with regards to injuries. We know that the versatility that's maybe required from an Akanji, an Ake, a Gavardiol, if we can have versatility with Calvin Phillips as well, that's some good coverage. But who's covering for Rodri? Who's going to cover for Rodri? I'm going to get to the comments just now. Rodri said 2 seasons ago, after the treble-winning year, I can't do another year like this. He's like, guys, I'm going to need help. I'm going to need some help. And again, that season we had Gundogan that would help out a little bit, get into that midfield, play that 6, or you have support with Bernardo. Last year, Kovacic got into a pretty good groove when there was like double pivot. Things kind of worked well, but Rodri is that guy. This year, it looks like Pep is hinting that we have coverage based off of who we currently have. So that's a Kovacic. Do we see a step up from a Nunez? Do we see an O'Reilly maybe being able to put in a shift there? I don't know. But if we lose Alvarez, I think we need a definite backup for Rodri. There's too many things left to chance. Well, let me go to the comments. Blue Heart goes, I'm the same with Ederson Vader. He's too needed. Yeah, that too, yeah. Capitalized. Too needed. And DC thumbs up for a pay raise for Eddie. Yeah. Eddie needs to be given that respect. Bruce in the building goes, I'm okay with the squad as is with no Alvarez replacement. However, I think we need okay. See, Bruce, that's what I was getting at. I was like, okay, if we happen to lose Alvarez, we don't need a direct Alvarez replacement. But if we do lose Alvarez, we definitely need coverage for Rodri. Look at the points that we dropped when Rodri wasn't able to play due to suspension with his yellows. We need coverage. It's gonna be the finest of margins this year. It's gonna be the finest of margins this year. And another thing that I want to point out is, and I'm not predicting injury. No fan, no one even within the club, they don't predict injuries. You don't look at things that way. But you do have contingencies. You do have insurance. You do have backup plans. We're going to need a backup plan in the event of an injured Haaland that might fall onto us during a congested part of the season. So hear me out, because this is where, and again, CIA intelligent agendas are going to come through. But us on this channel, we don't speak lazy. We take our time. We break things down. Obviously, if we were playing once a week, everything's calm. Everything can be managed. We can see coverage or overlap from another player playing false 9 or giving us coverage for a Haaland possibly. But when I'm talking about contingency, plan Bs, when I'm talking about, just having coverage and insurance, there's going to be a spell where we're going to have league play They're probably going to have FA Cup, and they're going to have league play and potentially Champions League. Like that type of congestion happening every 3-4 days is going to be incredibly demanding. And imagine you have to rely on a player to give you coverage for Haaland because Haaland can't play, maybe a little nick or something. So that takes a body from the midfield. And then you're now playing another game 3 days later that then has another domino effect. Or maybe there's two players that happen to have some niggles, as Pep likes to say, right? I'm thinking like that. I'm thinking before it becomes a problem. So I hope we get some news soon. And if it gets agreed to soon, then we can make moves in the transfer market soon. We'll get to the comments. Thank you, guys. And I wanted to also make sure that we're all balanced and understand when a player has come to personal terms or when a player is thinking about their career and says, if this happens to present itself, thank you, Manchester City, but I'm going to move on. Again, the way we don't keep players hostage from a club standpoint, and it's a great philosophy, by the way, us as fans shouldn't hold any grudges. Us as fans shouldn't have any hatred towards the players because, again, it's a career at the end of the day. It is a career move that they're making. Let me go to the comments. Bob played in the middle at the EDS. He can pick up those minutes when Rodri was out. Ooh, we were so yeah. Bob did play in the middle. Maybe like a double pivot move. I can see that. I really like the attacking nature of Oscar Bob. I've been really, really enjoying seeing that on the pitch. I missed this from Blue Heart. Blue Heart actually says a lot of people were saying, like you, Vader, that Phillips looked the business in the center mid. Yeah. Phillips disappointing. Disappointing from what he was at Leeds to what he's been at Manchester City. But, I mean, something can be regained. Bruce, Vader, what do you think about the club saying, staying pat in the attack and giving more minutes for Oscar Bob and McAtee? I think they can do the job. What do you think? I think they can, but it's going to have to be very strategic. It's going to have to be very laid out in terms of the games. I don't think you can expect them, obviously, as starters in matches versus a Liverpool or an Arsenal, even a United. Could they come on? Could you see them coming on at like the 70th minute? I could. More so Bob McAtee, let me see a little more, but I like what I saw in the offseason. I think they could be trusted to remain in the first squad. I agree. Blue Heart. If we do get that Rodri backup, I think the 5th in a row is on. Tough as usual, but a good call. Blue Heart. I want to start thinking about 5 in a row, but I want this transfer window to end. And it's going to be super exciting. You know what? Manchester City are going to get so much of my money again this year because I say this now, I'm going off on a little tangent. Sorry, apologies. I say this now, but I'm probably not going to get the sky blue jersey this year, but I will get the away and third kit. And my kids enjoyed. Do I have it nearby? My kids really like this jersey. Oh, it's inside out right now. My kids really like this jersey. Like they were wearing it all the time. So, yeah, I really think they're gonna enjoy the 2 other kits. But sorry, that 5 in a row, you have to get a kit. You have to get the kit for the 5 in a row. If it happens, Bruce. Ideally, I would love to see us get an 8 that can play next to Rodri. Okay, yeah, but can slide into the 6. Yeah, when Rodri needs a rest or is injured. Kimmich or Bruno G seems to fit the bill. Yeah, the price tag for Bruno though. Newcastle, and I was talking to a Newcastle fan. Shout out to Tone. Um, I think the latest is they want Oscar Bob and McAtee plus some money for Bruno, and they've the valuation for Bruno is like near 100 mil. That's too much. That's too much. But yeah, I think it's too much for the evaluation, and I think it's also too much to lose. I think we hold on to those two players, and we kind of make do with a Kovacic being that much more familiar, and with a Nunez and maybe even O'Reilly. Eds. Breaking. Atletico Madrid have now submitted their final offer to Manchester City for Julian Alvarez. What? And they're optimistic about closing a deal worth 75 million euros plus 15 million in add-ons. Usually something like that is decided within 24 hours. 75 to 15. That might get agreed upon. The issue will be always. That's all right. The issue will always be that whoever comes into Rodri, they will still have to get used to the system. It's true. Yeah, Eds, that's the problem. Yeah, we said that. We said 90 mil was probably going to be the overall. Damn. Oh, buying 2 kits this year, Vader. 2 kits. I got 2 minions, and they got the home and that jersey that I showed you last year. They're most likely not going to get the home. They're going to get the away and third kit. So that's 6 jerseys. Wifey doesn't wear the jerseys like that. She'll just borrow one of mine, which looks actually really good the way she wears it. But yeah, 6 jerseys this year. Damn. DC, love our third kit. Yeah, DC, right? I think I tweeted this. If you guys aren't following me on Twitter, but you know the GIF of I'm forgetting his name, but it's Futurama, and he's pretty much says, "Just take my money already," and he's got this animation where he's just throwing his money away. That's me in City Kits. That's me. Blue Heart goes, I love the maroon third kit. Yeah, it's clean. It's clean, and I love the little. I like the texture on it too. I haven't seen it up close in real life. It's a holiday here actually, but I'm like, if I'm gonna make a trip, do I make the trip and just get both jerseys because they're about to display. I know City kind of teased it, but yeah, the local footwear or football spot. It's just not too far from here, so I might get all 6. Surprise them. That kit is slick. Reminds me of our old Charlotte Red. I think. Now I'm gonna ask you guys this: how do you decide on which jersey to get first? Like, because I tend to go and get the jersey that's most different from what I already have, and then I'll go and get my second jersey. Or most years I've only bought 2 jerseys within the same year. I'm trying to be responsible. If anything, I'll maybe get it on the discount rack or get something a little later, but I try my best to only get 2 jerseys per year. And I say jerseys. I know if Martin were here right now, he's like, why are you calling them jerseys, the kit? But yeah, I try to only get 2 kits per season. Agreed. We need to develop Bob for sure over the next season. Yeah, we do. We need the academy players that obviously show tremendous talent at their age group for what they're able to do, and give them time to be able to show that quality on the first team. And I get it because we got to manage. You got to manage not only egos, but you got to manage the mentality because you don't want to throw them in the fire too quick. Like I said earlier, playing in some of the big games that are title deciders and maybe having poor games and then they're ruined, right? And then they've got to overcome a lot because of the disappointment of how they played in the big games. But yeah, Oscar Bob shows tremendous confidence, ability. Like, let's not forget that goal against Newcastle. That was it's moments like those where he's like, okay, extreme confident level has been reached. Now, yes, I feel I belong. Let whatever Pep asks of me being confident in my first touch or anything on that pitch. That's why you need those moments. DC goes, does Pep need to take Julian to dinner tomorrow? Talk it out. DC, I think I think he should. I think he should in terms of like, Julian, you sure you want to do this year? Remember year one. Look at the amount of minutes you had year two. Look at what we're on the brink of doing this season. You're gonna go to potentially you're gonna go to La Liga. Do you think you're going to be battling it out for La Liga title? Do you think you're going to be battling it out in Champions League? Mind you, Atletico Madrid were good. They beat Inter, and Inter made it to the Champions League final 2 years ago. So it's not like Atletico Madrid aren't good. He's probably betting on himself, DC. Julian's like, Haaland's not going anywhere. Haaland scores for fun. I just happened to watch him play in a preseason game, and the guy got a hat trick. This is like Julian's thinking. He's like, let me go sooner than later, and he's gonna go to Atletico Madrid. Hey, maybe that's a blessing, right? DC, let me put a spin on this. Maybe him going to Atletico Madrid. We got Girona. Maybe they can chip away and make life difficult. Atletico Madrid and Girona can make life difficult for Real Madrid. Make that pursuit to try to win the league that much tougher. So then they've got to focus on two things, and they're not just walking away with their league while they go in Champions League. So maybe we have him cause problems out there. Maybe that's the vision. Bruce, how would you rate Kovacic's performance last season? I feel he is very underrated and really did a good job as the season ran down. I think he will have an important role this season. Thoughts on Kova? Kova was good. I think a lot of City fans were very critical of him as he first joined. There's also like coming over from a rival, that whole thing that he had to overcome. But no, he was extremely polished as the season went on. I think he handled himself well. I think he knew what was asked of him. And again, I think it was just a matter of him getting healthy to be able to show how good he was for us. This year, I think he does his thing. I was really happy with it. Wasn't crazy money. He was experienced. Was he ever going to be a replacement for Gundogan? No. But was he going to be able to put in a good shift and maybe have us not miss Gundogan as much? Yes. Everybody wants to kill Kova on that game against Arsenal, right? A couple risky tackles. They want to kind of point out that the game was too much for him, but he was just getting into the flow of things, and I think after that he showed his worth, he showed his quality. I'm happy with Kova. Could he play that six, or I think he could play the double pivot with Rodri being fully benched and rested. Maybe we have a Kova and a Kanji. I could work. Maybe we have a Kova and John Stones. That could work. We got options. Blue Heart, if I was living overseas, I wouldn't worry about the home kit unless I really wanted it. So buying the away kits, if good. If you are going to a lot of home games, then the home shirt is nailed on. Yes, that's fair. That's fair. The reason why, though, and it's funny because the home kits get worn on home games by international fans. I don't. I, I'm gonna. It's. I don't think it's a Toronto thing. It might be a Toronto thing. Or even when you go to actually when you go to supporter bars, it's kind of similar. But when they're home games being played, everyone's wearing the home kit. When when Manchester City happen to be playing away, and you're still an international fan, then you'll put on the away kit. So, but I hear you. I hear you, Blue Heart. I hear you. Blue Heart goes, true, Bruce. Koval was excellent towards the end of the season. He's really underrated and has tons of quality and experience, in my opinion. Fair. DC goes, let's hope Stones is healthy. DC, he's got to be. He's got to be. He's too good. But he was Mr. Glass last year. It was annoying. I love him, but the man, yeah, the man's made of glass. Bruce, my shout out. I'm gonna shut down soon. Again, talking with you guys, I can tell, you guys can tell that I missed you because I had my whole mental about 50 minutes. I'm gonna flow, do my thing. 50 minutes. I'm gonna interact here to get comments and questions. And then it's going to be a short and sweet show. Look, we're almost closing in on an hour. And I absolutely love the convo. Let me go to Bruce. He goes, keep up the good work, Vader. Looking forward to seeing you rep the North American City supporters on the football terrace and elsewhere this season. Up the Blues from St. Louis, Missouri. Much. Bruce, respect, man. Thanks for tuning in. Again, the show a lot longer than planned. Everyone interacting has been amazing. I'm gonna rep. I'm going to continue to do my thing. Like I show you all the time. Like these platinums that have been creeping in, is it stress of Manchester City? I can't really say that it's due to stress of Manchester City. Some of the wisdom, the number of times I've circled around the sun. But I'm going to rep for City as best as I can. I mean, you guys know when you tune into YouTube and some of those other channels, you just look at the comments and you see how ignorant they can be. You can see how attacking they can be, but I don't even mind it. Honestly, when I join these channels, I'm not even in the comments. The only comments I read are on my channel. So when I happen to go on the football terrace and elsewhere, all you see are my thoughts. There's no reaction to anybody in the chat. It's just my thoughts and reactions to those that are talking to me on the show. The football terrace will be a place that I'm going to head to. When the season kicks in, you're going to catch me on Staffy TV with the American Waffle. When I'm not sent to the waffle cell, I get my point across. It's often 5v1, maybe 4v2, because Jacob. Shout out to Jacob. He's a Spurs fan. We tend to be on the balance side, and then Sarcasm City TV. He's a United fan, but he's a good dude. Flawless, you'll catch me on there, and obviously Egal, fellow Canadian over in the UK, Arsenal fan. So I'm going to be doing my thing. And I'm also going to look to change how much or how I have people onto the show. I definitely want to have expanded with the rest of the panels, City fans as well as rivals. I'm bringing back CIA. I'm bringing back CIA intelligent agendas because we have to have that covered because there's too much that's said unchallenged, and at the same time the hate for City is real, and this is going to be the most hated year ever. We sued the league, which is a conversation I'll have later in the year, so that still needs to come out, and then we've got these charges that are going to hit in November, so the conversation is going to be intense. So please subscribe, share this, clip this, and share good parts or share parts that you want to share with others if they're looking to interact with a football channel or a Manchester City channel in particular. Try to do things different. Blue Heart goes, I see, Vader. I suppose the fans overseas feel closer to the team if they wear the home shirt while watching games. I get it. Yeah, yeah. It's like when you're in a supporters pub and it's an away game, you're wearing the away kit, and obviously the City fans that travel to the away game are wearing the away kit. We're kind of just doing the same thing in the pub ourselves. And often enough in this day and age, like the screens are huge, right? So you're just arm in arm with other fans, and it's just the vibe. Just the vibe. DC goes, Blue Heart, you are a dedicated Vader fan. It's late in England. Listen, DC, Blue Heart's a real one. And I tried to do this at 6 because at 6 it's 11, it's creeping on 12, and that's why I want to kind of cut this short out of respect for Blue Heart and those international fans. I say international fans, those fans overseas. And then moving forward, I'm going to find that sweet spot. I'm going to find that sweet spot on what I'm going to do regularly with my 115, one question, 15 minutes, as well as when you can catch Vader Games TV, Why Always Me, as well as Vader Games TV, CIA, Intelligent Agendas. Shout out to Fox in the building. He goes, bless up, Vader. Blue Heart, I stayed up late a lot, DC, so it's my pleasure to be here. Blue Heart, it's my pleasure, my honor to have you on the show. And DC, Blue Heart is legendary. He is a legend. Now, thank you for interacting. Thank you for dropping the like. Thank you for being a part of the show. My next show, my next 115 is going to be one of these topics. Right now, my gut's telling me why players aren't held hostage at City is going to be my next show for the 115. But I'm so glad I was able to speak on today's show why Julian Alvarez doesn't want to fight for a spot when he sees a killer up front in Erling Haaland setting records from year one, winning Golden Boot, year two, being injured for 2 months. Like, the man is a machine. So you can understand Julian being like, maybe I'll take my chances elsewhere. And sometimes you can't fault him because, again, these players are thinking about their careers. He's won everything. It'd be different if he didn't win everything here, but he's won everything here. So he's kind of, maybe he's felt like, hey, the checklist is done. I can move on. Our next show will be a 115. If I do a show on Wednesday, most likely to be Why Always Me. And on Sundays, look to expect CIA. So if I think of the reason why you want to subscribe and hit that notification button is because the 115s are going to be, they're going to be reactionary. They're going to be like, oh, here's the news, or here's where I got some time within the day. Let me get through these topics. The Why Always Me schedule, you know what to get. Most likely going to have good group of other fellow City fans on there. CIA, we're going to do the panel. And then, sorry. I got a show in the works for the week of August 12th. August 12th, so there's going to be surprises on the channel. Make sure you hit the notification button so you know when I'm live. It's going to be special. It's going to be special. Really, really brief shows, guests that you probably don't expect, and a conversation that, believe me, conversations that are going to be completely unique to YouTube and this whole football space. The conversation is going to be extremely unique. So please don't miss out on that. We're going to put the last remaining comments on, and then I'm going to be out of here. Blue Heart goes, not really, DC. I just love the City chatter. Still practicing a bit. Oh, still practicing being a legend. One day, who knows? Nice. Humble. Fox, yo, what pub do you go watch? Hey, Fox, let me know where you're from. Let me know where you're from, because if you're ever in the Toronto area, we should link up. And I'm kinda trying to be more of a regular with regards to how often I go. Oh, 1 second. I try to chill as much as I can, because now, as I mentioned earlier, I got 2 minions with me, and my minions, they're not able to go. They're not able to go. Obviously, they begged and begged and begged, but oh, let me see what you're saying. Well, I don't know. Fox, remind me. I'm not sure if you're in the GTA, but no, in the city, Opera Bob's. Opera Bob's is where you go to catch the games if you have any affiliation to Manchester City, or if you just want to, walk past and have someone be like, "Yo, sit tight." That's what you do. That's what you do. Yeah, but I don't do the vlog thing, but I might do that. Or at the very least, you know what? You just type in Manchester City, Toronto, and you can see some, probably most likely on Instagram, that on Twitter, you can see some of the fan base and some of the what I described in terms of home kits and away kits. DC goes 4 a.m. kickoffs are not for the faint of heart. DC, I don't know how you do it. You know what? I do know how you do it, but 4:30 is a lot different than 6:30 or 7:30 out here for me. But yeah, you're a real one. Yo, Fox, no worries. Bless up. Now, I do want to shut down. It's 102. I'm not going to take this to 115. Vader Games TV, 115. One question, 15 minutes. I hope you enjoyed the show. I hope you make a decision. I hope you get yourself involved with what you want to hear talked about with regards to the topics. And again, at the same time, if you're like Vader, I need your take on some of these rivals. I need your take on some of the hate talk that's coming out of the rivals. Fight, like, you know what I mean? Like that counter for what the rivals like to say. Let me know. I'm here for it. And always pleasure. I'm going to sign off with how I signed in. Hope you enjoyed this show, Vader Games TV 115. Why Julian Alvarez doesn't want to fight Erling Haaland to be number 1 if he decides to leave. Much love and respect to everybody in the building. I'm outie.